We were sold a lie that mass migration is about compassion, diversity, and enriching our nations through multiculturalism. But when you scratch the surface, it becomes clear this isn't about kindness. It's about economics, control, and elite convenience. Let's paint a more accurate picture about mass migration using Canada as the case study. In 1960, Canada had a birth rate of over 27 births per 1,000 people. Today, that number is under 10. That's not a gentle decline, it's population collapse. And it started right after the widespread adoption of birth control, paired with a cultural shift that told women liberation means working 40 to 50 hours a week for a corporation that could care less about you. Now, let's be clear before the Handmaid's Tale crowd starts screaming. This isn't a pitch for public policy on family planning or forcing anyone back into the kitchen. But we do need to ask who benefited from this shift. While it was sold as social liberation, it conveniently flooded the labor market, suppressed wages, and drove inflation. Dual-income households competed for the same goods in homes, driving prices higher and lining the pockets of the wealthy. What looks like progress was probably just a well-dressed psyop. Here's the math problem. If a population stops reproducing, it stops growing. But in a country like Canada with a massive welfare state, you need a growing base of young workers to support aging retirees. Pensions, healthcare, and social programs don't fund themselves. And if birth rates can't keep up, governments look for the next best solution: mass migration. In 2000, the UN openly proposed this in a report titled Replacement Migration. It argued that to counter an aging population, Western nations would need to bring in tens, even hundreds of millions of migrants. This wasn't hidden, it was public policy planning. Enter Canada's Century Initiative, a lobby group co-founded by Liberal insiders Dominic Barton and Mark Wiseman. Their goal? A Canada of 100 million people by 2100, not through births, but through immigration. The Globe and Mail says we're on track, and the data backs it up. From 2021 to 2023, Canada's net migration skyrocketed to over 1.2 million per year, an unprecedented spike in modern history. In fact, that immigration rate is 500% higher than our historical average. And who's running the show now? Mark Carney, former Bank of Canada governor, WEF insider, and newly installed Prime Minister. One of his first moves? Adding Mark Wiseman, yes, the Century Initiative co-founder, to his advisory council. The connections aren't subtle, they're systemic. So who really benefits from all of this? Not Canadians and not immigrants. The only winners are what should be referred to as the unholy trinity. First, the government, which expands its power by engineering a one-party state, importing a loyal electorate that's more accustomed to poverty, dependence, and authoritarianism than liberty, prosperity, and dissent. Second, transnational corporations, which suppresses wages by increasing labor supply while inflating profits through higher consumer demand across housing, goods, and services. Third, organized crime, which thrives in the chaos, taking advantage of overwhelmed systems to smuggle drugs, traffic humans, and move money under the radar while law enforcement falls further behind. Mass migration isn't about compassion, it's about patching a broken economic system, preserving elite dominance, and leaving the rest of us to pay the price.